I have overthought this so much. I've already done a couple of takes. I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes here, but I feel like I have to say this. When I grew up, while I was growing up, I feel like I was always an anxious kid, for whatever reason. Growing up, I remember my family would have parties, they would drink, have people over, cookouts, get together for the fight. And they would drink, or someone's birthday, and they would dance, drink, have fun, it seemed like. And, yeah, as a kid, I remember I used to like watching archaeological shows, like on the History Channel. I remember they'd go through the pyramids and say, the pyramids are built by aliens. Crazy haired guy, talking about aliens all the time on the History Channel. I've always been kind of fascinated with utopian / dystopian futures, sci-fi, science fiction has always been, it had always been fun to me, Greek mythology, Norse mythology. I'm not going to sit here and name a ton like I know a ton. Those are like the two only that I know, but I know that the Romans had their own gods like Saturn and Venus and stuff. They would worship. And my family started going to church when I was about 10, 12, around there. I forgot exactly when. I think I was around 12. My sister, she went to a retreat or some sort of like Bible study. And at the time, for whatever reason, I remember they were having a hard time. My sister and my brother-in-law, her husband. And maybe at the time, they felt like they needed to seek something else to help them out. But yeah, we started going to church. She invited all of us. The same guy that gave her Bible study started giving me Bible study. He asked me if I wanted Bible study. And I remember him being surprised because when it came around to it, he said he was surprised that, I wasn't just going to sit down and play video games. A lot of other kids my age would have said no to the Bible study. But I was always open. I mean, my family was starting to go, so why not? And so, yeah, I started going to church. I was around 12 years old. And I'm ashamed, to say it, but I feel like it has to be said. I was addicted to porn pretty young. I got introduced to it like around 9 years old, 10 years old. What that does to the mind, to your psyche growing up. I felt a lot of shame growing up. I never got like the sex talk or birds and the bees. I never got the talk, so just, I think at some point they kind of knew that I was like informed on certain topics. They being my family, my parents. And God bless them. They moved here from a different, they're immigrants and they came here, and I'm lucky to be here in the United States right now. I've had a very good life because of them. And yeah, when they came over here, I don't think really anybody in the world was ready for what's coming when it comes to social media, the internet. And just life here, But yeah, so like I said, I was always an anxious kid, sort of a people pleaser. I didn't really want to say no. I kind of said yes to the Bible study too because of my family. I was really young. I was 12 years old. I'm seeing them do this. So, I agree. And it just felt automatic for me to just agree. So I was pretty young though when I was introduced to porn, and I feel like that really numbed me. I didn't make a lot of friends in middle school or high school. I didn't go to college. And I feel like that's one of the things that might have that's one of the things that really messed up my relationship building. So I can't put my finger on a scientific, I don't know. Can't point to a study necessarily right now, but yeah, I just felt disconnected. I do hear Dr. K talk about this sometimes, you feel disconnected, you feel unable to form relationships. But then again, I always had that mask on, always just being nice. It was just being nice for being nice. I think I was taught good manners, and I was never wanting to do bad to people or anything like that. I just didn't really talk to people. I didn't really to this day, there's only really a couple of people that I've met that I could call friends. Maybe. One of them for sure. But anyways, yeah, that's, really not social growing up. And so, that was in the middle of middle school where I started getting the Bible study. And so yeah, I hear that God can help me with this. The person who gave me Bible study kind of helped pave the way to whatever understanding I had of God at the time, And I feel like he planted the seed. He showed me really how to pray. He'd read the Bible, maybe certain passages, kind of give a lesson when it came down to, breaking it down, whatever the lesson is, maybe off of a verse. And yeah, I remember I started going to church. We started going to church, started going to the events that they would have. A couple years later, at 14, I got baptized. And yeah, I kind of felt some community there, even though I don't think I ever talked to anybody for a while. Actually, only like one person from church after I left it, which I'm getting to. But yeah, I'm growing up, middle school, everybody around me. I grew up in like a it's not poor, but it wasn't like a super wealthy area. Yeah, kids are pretty brutal. Kids are pretty brutal when you're in middle school, And I do want to preface that by saying I actually never got in a fight. And I never got bullied. Because I just really stuck to myself. As soon as school was out, get on the bus, go home. Finally, when I was home, I felt like I could kind of take a load off. School, all throughout my life, has always felt anxious. I've always felt anxious at school. I remember from kindergarten to third grade, I was a big crybaby. Like at the beginning of the school year, I'm talking for like a month, every single day I'd cry because my mom would leave me there at school. Or later on, as my older brother and older sister were dropping me off, I would tell them every single time that I got off the car to tell my mom that I love her, because it hurt a lot. I remember when I was a kid, I still remember, matter of fact, I still remember in kindergarten, the very first day, these kids coming up to me, they're kind of introducing themselves to me, and I'm like shaking, or like there's like a few people in front of me, and I threw up. I turned around and I threw up. It was just so much. It felt like a lot, Felt like a lot. I still remember that day. The playground, that was the little kids' kindergarten playground. Yeah, I remember walking through those doors, seeing all those people. I was nervous. And I threw up after they all introduced themselves, crying all the time. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. Well, anyway, middle school comes around. I feel extreme nerves, I mean, you hear it all the time though, so you hear this all the time, which is everybody else is feeling the same thing you're feeling, so, just know that and you'll be fine. That was not enough for me. I always felt, like I said, I always felt anxious. And then high school comes around. Again, I just feel anxious. I don't really talk to too many people. All this time though, I'm going to church, My community is at church. I was taught at church that I was not supposed to be part of this world. I wasn't supposed to be worldly, and I really wasn't supposed to talk to people who were worldly, because like sin and temptation and growing up, I remember we used to have the officer come into the class and explain to everybody why you shouldn't do drugs, a couple of slides here and there with some crackheads missing some teeth, really scaring you into not doing drugs. And high school rolls around. Again, I have no friends at school, but I still have my community at church. It felt like they were my friends, but it also felt somewhat forced, if I'm being honest. All throughout this time, I hadn't really read the Bible. I had never really read it myself to try to understand it, really grasp what it's saying, and all that was in it. I wish I had asked questions like what language it was written in, where it takes place. I wish I had asked for like a map. I was always interested in these things, archaeological and like history and all this stuff. And I wish I had asked about the Bible and like who it was written by and the different accounts and how they coincide with each other. I thought I was doing the right thing by going to church, and I would go door to door here and there with my teacher, the Bible study teacher, or like people. We would get together, we would go door to door, There I am with my Bible. I guess you could say kind of a hypocrite. I was really young, and I didn't read the Bible that much. I didn't really get to know God that well, growing up. High school, anxious. Still in high school, I was an anxious person every single day, I'm the type of person that I was the type of person that if someone walked in the room, I couldn't continue doing what I was doing. There's someone else in the room. Like this, I can feel their presence. And the thing is, they might be in their whole world. Like they might be totally totally absorbed in an activity or somewhere, but I know they're there, so I can't do me. It's hard to explain. And that still persisted 18, 19, 20, 21. And I'm ashamed to say it, but I felt frustrated. I felt like I was missing out. 18, 19, I graduated high school. I had no friends. And this whole, you hear it today with the whole male loneliness epidemic. And I feel like I was going through that a long time ago, and I feel like men have gone through this a long time ago too. It started a long time ago. It's not like you woke up today and today you're lonely, so there's an epidemic. No, this loneliness epidemic, which is really male and female, it struck me hard. I always kind of felt like I didn't belong. And even when I left church, I just felt like I didn't belong there because I just felt so wicked too. I had, started watching porn again. I was frustrated because I didn't have fun. Like, I thought that I was missing out. I never went to a party. Still, I've never been to like a party necessarily, like, some crazy like thing, birthday party. My brothers, we kind of held one there, but so I didn't really go to parties. I didn't go to parties. I remember that in this frustration, I really wanted to go to the club, and some of the church people, the youth, they were gonna go. Like, I had known that they were going, people were kind of straying away at the time, and I felt like I had missed out. And so I went to the club with these people, from church, and I remember going, and I remember feeling so out of place. I felt like wrong, guilty, sort of just lonely, just like it felt like we were there, but I wasn't really there. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't, You know, I remember I was sitting in a corner with a beer in my hand, and like everybody seemed like be having fun, and it just felt like I was watching like this show. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like I just didn't feel like I belonged. And yeah, after like 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, I just stopped. I told my mom. I remember one time the Bible study group came over to our house, and my mom came in, and that was a regular thing, you know. You know, we're going to church, we're going to Bible study, we're going to the cell group, which is like an evangelical thing, I think. I'm not sure, where they do Bible study. It's called the cell. There was like the whole church was kind of broken into like 12 cells, you know, 12 different leaders for the Bible studies that would happen within the week. There would be church twice a week, like for 3 hours those 2 days, and then on top of that there was like meetings, and then there was like morning prayer if you wanted to go there, and then there's like Bible study, and then we go knocking on doors on the weekends and stuff. And I had grown tired, you know. I felt like I said, I had missed out. I like my youth is just leaving me, like. And so that's when I was like going to the club, and yeah, I got my car, and like just going to friends' house, like one friend's house. I remember I had one homie who I always hung out with for a while, and yeah, we would go drink, we'd go find weed, you know, we'd be smoking all the time, and just trying to have fun, you know. Well, I first smoked weed when I was 19, and it was hard to get on it, as in I smoked once, and then for like 2 months I didn't smoke again, and then in another month I smoked, and then like 2 weeks, and then a week, and then it just kind of became more constant as I went. And yeah, I didn't go to the club though again. I didn't go to a concert till like a year and a half ago. So from like 22, or like a year ago, I think it was, that I went to a concert. But from like 2022, I felt like I was growing cold, and I fell into a depression. Like it was bad. That's what this whole like loneliness epidemic, and ever since then, you know, it's always been this like, okay, I want to start this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this. Always second guessing though. Always second guessing everything. All the time about everything too. I mean, yeah. And in this state of like depression, you know, it always felt like the happiness was supposed to come at some point where I make myself happy, I make something happen, or something was supposed to happen. I remember when I was 16, I always thought that I would be married by 25, and I'd have my kids, you know, running around, and I'd be moving into my own house with my wife and stuff. And yeah, I mean, we know how the economy is here in the United States now. It seems like a dream more than anything. But I felt compelled to make this video because you know, I was watching the news. I had been kind of engulfed in the news and what's going on today. And okay, maybe I should backtrack just a little bit here. So from 22 to, I'd say, very, very recently, I was in that depressive state, and I was always trying to satisfy my flesh, you know, always smoking, drinking, but that's what I mean by that. I still haven't been in a relationship, and I think that affected me too, like mentally, you know. It always felt like, what was wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with me? Because it wouldn't only just be relationships, but like friends. It felt like I still don't make friends easily. But yeah, I think I just wanted to make this video, like I said, because I don't feel so alone anymore. And I want to thank God, because I feel like He's opened my eyes to what's going on in the world and connected the dots for me. And I don't know if the depression really comes across. I was in a very, like, just a state of despair. Honestly, I'd given up. The one thing that I knew that I wasn't ever thinking about, or like, you know, in any way or shape or form gonna do, like, this is just off the table. I was never gonna, like, unalive myself, you know what I mean? Never thought about that. No, I just felt like about everything, like just watching porn, drinking, smoking, making little efforts here and there, you know, to try to, like, go out or whatever. But like I said, I just feel like I never really belonged. I never really have fun when I'm trying to have fun. It's all just drinking and completely numbing myself is what I was doing. And like I said, I've been seeing the news lately, and God, I feel like has opened my eyes, has allowed me to see what's going on today. And I mean, if you read Revelation, it's pretty compelling, you know. It's pretty it's strong, it's heavy stuff. And I kind of felt this, I felt guilty about what I was doing, who I had become, the influence that I had become around me, to my brother, to maybe people around me. I don't really have too many people around me, like I say, you know. And I don't know why. I don't know why God decided to be so merciful to have my eyes open and see that I've been missing Him. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that brought me back, because I just recently stopped smoking weed too, and like a lot of the past 5 years, 6 years, even more, feel blurry, because I was always in that state of just complete numbing myself all the time. And I always felt so alone, and I just don't feel so alone anymore. I felt compelled to make this video because maybe some of you are struggling. Maybe some of you out there are struggling with this too. You know, loneliness, complete sense of like no direction, a sense of just anxiety all the time, depression, like I said, despair, just despair, no hope. And I mean, this is also secularly, also I felt this, you know, like it just feels like where I live, there's not a ton of opportunity for jobs. And yeah, I'm not making like a lot of good money and, you know, able to buy a house and like do stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's not like I have money to like it felt really hopeless. Because like I said, when I was 16, I always thought that by 25 I'd be married. But it, you know, as time went on, it just felt like that was like like a dream, you know, just something that's like so far removed. And it you know, when I was 18, 19, I felt like, oh crap, I'm, you know, kind of losing hope here. Like, you know, by the time I was 25, it was like, yeah, this is my everyday. I'm just smoking weed, you know, grab a beer, go buy another beer. I would finish that beer and then smoke some weed and go get another beer, drive like that. I got a DUI when I was 23, 24, I don't remember anymore. One of those years. Then COVID happened, and I mean, I didn't have a license for like 2 years. And I was just at home all the time. And I just want to say that right now, maybe you're in the same spot. Maybe you've had somewhat of a similar experience with church and God. Like I said, I feel compelled to make this video because I know now that that's what I was missing, is God, Jesus. But truly getting to know Him, reading the Bible, and really trying to understand what it says, what it's telling you. And you know, a lot of the self-help stuff is finding a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning. And when you give your life up to God, I feel as though that it brings peace. Yeah, a peace that like nothing can take away. I stopped smoking a few days ago, and like a few days before that, I was struggling, you know, with it. It was so automatic to just come out here and smoke, but I was starting to feel guilty, and I didn't come out here with my own choosing necessarily. Well, I was wrestling with that. And me and my brother were out here, and I felt so guilty. And I told him about it. And he brings out this letter. And in the letter, this is in 2017, he said, Yayo, which is me. He was talking to my sister, right? It was a letter to my sister. And he decided to mention me and how I had left the church and I was going to be gone for a little while. But then I would be back. If you had asked me a couple of months ago, like what I thought about going back to church, what I thought about God and stuff, like if you had asked me, I had even said it myself. I remember I was drunk and I told my brother, like, I just don't want to go back to church. And I felt like this anger, this resentment towards church that I had felt for a while because I felt like I was repressed. And maybe God let me go through that for a purpose. That's what I want to think, you know? Yeah, I expressed to my brother that I was just, I didn't feel right anymore smoking. And I mean, that's not the only thing, you know? I feel like it's been so easy. As soon as I just told him about that and I just threw everything away, I just haven't smoked, I haven't even craved it. I haven't even like thought about it as much as I used to, you know. I haven't even thought about it. And I've had this peace that I'm almost afraid to mess up. So I just want to let you know that if you're in the same situation, you're not alone. You're not alone, and if you get to know God, if you give Him a chance, you'll see that you were never alone. Yeah. I don't think I ever stopped being a crybaby. And I just want to thank God. Thank you if you watch this video. If it has been in any way helpful to you, let me know. Please let me know. And I hope this finds someone who was in the same situation as me and helps them. Yeah, I think that'll do. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go inside. It's kind of hot out here. Pretty hot, pretty warm. Got a lot of mosquitoes out here eating me up. Just, yeah. And I just want to thank God. And yeah, just if you're doubting, do a deep dive. Do a deep dive into God, you know, into the Bible. I'll grab a Bible study Bible, you know. Grab a study Bible to really dissect what God is trying to tell you in the Bible. I think that'd be really useful. And yeah, thank you for watching.